AITA for throwing out my friend's GF after she insulted me during a panic attack? Title sounds bad, but hear me out. I too have a small group of friends who decided to have a COVID safe game night at my place. My friend Nick 23 asked to bring his new GF. Pam 20. I said sure, since none of us had met her yet, only been dating for 3 months. So it seemed the perfect way to introduce her to the group. The night comes, Nick and Pam are the last to arrive. She greets everyone and Nick introduces her to us all. I welcome her to my home and introduce myself with my full name. She went quiet and asked me to say that again. I was a little weirded out, but I told her my name again, fake name, but let's say Andrew James Manson. She screamed and fell to her knees. Nick immediately consoles her and tries to calm her down. It turns out that she has a fear of serial killers. I share a last name with one from the state I live in because I am also unfortunately distantly related to him. It wasn't a big profile case that everyone around the country knows, but it's enough for some locals to wonder if I had a connection to him. This is considered pretty heavy information to most people, so I don't tend to tell it to everyone. My friends all knew at this point, but Pam didn't. Nick said she'd be okay in a while. But then she screamed, "How could you bring me here, you monster?" That seemed really atypical. So I asked her what was wrong. She said that her great-aunt was one of the victims and her body was never found. I told her that I'm sorry, but I can't control my genetics. I'm related to Charles Manson, again, not the real name, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna kill anyone like he did. Then she screamed for me to get out and Nick told me to leave until she calms down. I snapped and that this is my house, so you should leave. He said to be reasonable and understanding, cause this is a hard thing for Pam to come down from. But here's where I may be the asshole. I grabbed my keys from the kitchen and when I went by the living room I heard Pam say, "I can't believe you brought me to a murderer's house." So I snapped. I shouted at her that she has a lot of nerve acting this way the first time we meet her, and how dare she demand that I leave my home and call me a murderer. I grabbed her and Nick's things, threw them at them and demanded they leave right now. Pam wouldn't stop screaming and crying and Nick asked me to be reasonable. I told him to fuck off if he's okay with his GF insulting me like this. After I kicked them out, our other friends began arguing about how I could be such a dick to someone having a panic attack. The others defended me and think that Pam was out of line and Nick didn't do a damn thing to defend his friend against his GF of 3 months. That it's her own fault for being overly dramatic and demanding just because of a panic attack and Nick is only enabling her. Nick has demanded an apology for Pam and him and I told them both it ain't gonna happen after the way she disrespected me. Everyone is split but I feel like I'm in the right. AITA. Edit. So I'm gonna step away from this for a while, but a lot of the comments have raised a lot of good points. I thank everybody's input. I know this is a very strange situation. I understand how my distant relative impacted her family. That is painful. But he also impacted my family in many ways, will not elaborate for the sake of privacy. The crimes in question all happened decades ago, before any of us in my group were even born. Also, the last name in question is not really Manson, I merely used it as an example. I have considered changing it down the line, but since it's a long and also costly process I am putting it off. Focusing on my college courses for now. Don't really know what sort of last name I may change it to eventually, but I'll see. The petty part of me started calling my place the murder house in the group chat with the friends on my side. XD, I think it's gonna stick. Edit 2, hit the update button too quick, my bad. But also I am a little surprised by the amount of people who find it odd how I introduce myself with my full name. That's just a manner that my grandfather instilled in me, he always did the same and encouraged me to do the same. I just basically see it as being polite when I meet someone new, but I have never seen someone react this negatively before.